Fuel is a blockchain. We're a UTXO L2 blockchain built on top of Ethereum. And we have created our own virtual machine, our own programming language, our own client software, all from scratch. As a company, we try to do everything open source. That included our monitoring infrastructure stack. So everything was based on Grafana and Prometheus. As the company grew, we had created separate clusters, separate Kubernetes clusters to try to provide some isolation and scalability between different environments. If we had a new version go out, we couldn't really compare metrics from one environment to the other to see if there was a regression or something improved. And we also had a crazy high cost. Cost kept ballooning because we were running full monitoring and alerting stacks across every single environment that we had. We kind of did the cost benefit analysis there. And I think at the end of the day, while we could have, in theory, I think maybe saved a little bit of money over what Oodle costs, it was like 10%. And the headache that you guys take off of our plate and not having to think about that is well worth what we end up having to, what we could have quote unquote saved in money ourselves. If I don't have to hear about it anymore from our DevOps team about how our system is continuing to fail. So from my perspective, that's fantastic. I think more importantly, from our team's perspective, they've been able to port the existing kind of dashboards and monitoring things that pre-existed in the Grafana stack. That all came over to Oodle very, very easily. It's an interface that they're familiar with. They're familiar with Grafana. They're familiar with how that works. The learning curve is very, very minimal for anybody that's used any kind of modern monitoring tools. It has made it easier for us to identify issues earlier in the development lifecycle. And that's because we can compare across environments now in a way that we couldn't do earlier. It also has made it, one of the other pieces that we've been working on internally is dynamically provisioning and deprovisioning new environments for particular branches of work and whatnot. And that was actually not a capability that we could really automate with the old monitoring stack. It's been fantastic. You guys you're tied into our Slack workflow where your team is super responsive and working with us to either address the question or get a bug fixed or work on integration or whatever. I mean, you guys turned around some feature requests that we had in like days. So that was great. Biggest change for our team has been not having to focus on monitoring. Monitoring just works. And so we don't have to, I think we used to allocate something like 20 to 25% of our DevOps team's resources to monitoring related problems. And it doesn't have to happen anymore. And so they're able to focus on features and challenges that we have that are unique to Fuel, and leave the monitoring to the experts. I love having problems that I can trust somebody to solve and I don't have to think about them again. And I feel like Oodle and monitoring is now in that camp.